we know that there's actual cloning going on. The real question is cloning going on? Yeah, it is.
There's one name in Hollywood, across the whole industry, that's never missed. Not once. Not on Sean Diddy Combs, not on The Gatekeepers, not even on Harvey Weinstein. That name, Katt Williams. While everyone else laughed it off, he was laying out the truth. As comics got iced out and rappers played along, Katt stood center stage, stared straight ahead, and said the things nobody else dared to say.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
By now, Katt's turning his attention to NBA YoungBoy, and what he's hinting at could flip the entire narrative. But first, show this video some love, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because content like this has a way of disappearing. No joke, we've already had to upload it more than once. If you want others to see it, share it while it's still up. Now, here's where things get interesting. In January 2024, Katt Williams sat down with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay for what became the biggest podcast interview anyone had ever seen. Tens of millions watched, and the internet stayed locked in for weeks. Most people got distracted by the shots at Cedric, Steve Harvey, and Kevin Hart. That was the headline material. The deeper message was buried underneath. At one point, Katt made a bold claim. Everything he'd said eventually checked out, every single time. People laughed, Shannon laughed, but Katt didn't. He had that serious stare that lets you know he means every word. Then, later in the conversation, he casually mentioned young artists being taken to places that changed them. Shannon moved on, Katt let it go, but the message had already landed. Whatever he meant, it clearly wasn't about studio sessions or career guidance. It was something much bigger.
I don't want no parts. I done seen what these things can do to people. Anything that take over your free will is the devil itself.
Have you ever thought about what your life would have been had you stayed in Dayton, Ohio?
No.
If you want to understand what Katt is pointing toward, you have to look closely at the NBA YoungBoy timeline. Not the headlines, the full picture, because once the pieces are lined up, a lot of it feels hard to explain. Born Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden, YoungBoy ran into legal trouble at just 16. A year later, his music career was taking off. By 18, he had become one of the most streamed artists in the world. Then by 19, he was juggling multiple arrests, multiple children, and life under house arrest. But here's the detail that rarely gets attention. From 2019 through 2021, YoungBoy was constantly moving in and out of custody. And that's where the timeline starts raising questions.
YoungBoy.
Then came another arrest. Police said YoungBoy was taken into custody during a larger operation involving multiple people. Authorities reported recovering weapons, cash, and drugs at the scene, while his legal team pushed back, insisting none of it belonged to him and maintaining his innocence. But that's only part of the story people keep pointing to. There were stretches where he seemed to vanish from public view. No posts, no releases, just silence. Then he'd return, and some fans swore something felt different. Maybe it was age, maybe it was growth, but the speculation never stopped. That's where Katt Williams entered the conversation again. In a lesser-known interview, he hinted that certain young artists disappear for a while and come back changed. He never offered proof, but the comment stuck. Things got even stranger when Katt started connecting those ideas to broader discussions about powerful networks and hidden operations that have fueled online speculation for years. While many dismissed those claims outright, Katt kept revisiting the theme. During one 2024 performance, he talked about places that don't just take advantage of people. They change who they are. The crowd laughed uneasily, but he never treated it like a joke. Then he raised a question about young rappers who vanished briefly before returning with what some fans describe as a completely different energy. It was a provocative claim, and the room went quiet. Online, some audio enthusiasts began comparing YoungBoy's earlier recordings with newer material. They pointed to differences in tone, delivery, and vocal characteristics, though others argued those changes are normal for an artist who started recording as a teenager. The debate grew because some listeners felt the shift happened unusually fast rather than gradually. Katt leaned into that discussion, suggesting the earlier music carried a raw emotional weight that felt different from later releases. Whether people agreed or not, the comparison sparked a bigger question. Through legal battles, house arrest, and nonstop public scrutiny, YoungBoy somehow maintained an output that few artists could match. releasing project after project at a pace that left even longtime observers wondering how it was possible.
Seemed like, people were saying, well, you only obligated to do a certain amount of albums, but you over-delivered, right? You gave him so many projects.
It brings some type of good feeling to put a tape together and just release it. I left Atlanta because I wanted to experience some more stuff.
I rest my case. Even though subject matter to me, it sounds like the album focuses on a lot on love.
Like I see people talking about raging music and these sort of terms. And you also challenge the aesthetic, like people saying, well, was it face painting or painting your nails and doing these different sort of style things? Like, what is it? What
Do you still feel that way? And according to Illuminate, in 2022, you're the third most streamed artist in the United States, right behind Drake and Taylor Swift, man.
I just be having a point to prove, or just be having something to say.
You obviously know you've influenced the whole generation and influenced so many other rappers.
Take a second and think about that pace. Most major artists, even with huge teams, top-tier studios, and complete creative control, need 2 or 3 years to put out a single album. YoungBoy was doing the opposite, dropping multiple projects every year. And these weren't rushed mixtapes or filler releases. They were fully produced, professionally mixed, mastered, and packaged like major releases. That level of output is what keeps raising eyebrows.
What do I think about YoungBoy dropping 5 albums a year? I think it's dumb, bro. I mean, I don't even know where to start with YoungBoy anymore. I'm not a big fan of his music because if you drop that many tracks in a year, of course, if you're some people maybe are talented like that, maybe Juice WRLD, I'd say, of just being able to come up with new flows and new types of songs on different beats, just being able to freestyle on the spot, whole ass songs, they're not even punching in, just freestyling for a whole hour. Y'all remember that freestyle that Juice WRLD did? But again, 5 projects, man, it's just too much, man.
That's where Katt Williams took the conversation even further. He argued that the sheer volume of music doesn't make sense to him, suggesting no single person could maintain that kind of output. From there, he floated theories that sparked endless debate online. What's interesting is that many YoungBoy fans already talk about his catalog in distinct phases. Scroll through fan discussions, and you'll see people comparing 2018 YoungBoy to 2020 YoungBoy, like they're completely different versions of the same artist. They mean it as a comment on his evolution, but Katt sees something deeper. Then comes the question at the center of all this speculation. Why YoungBoy? Why would a rapper from Baton Rouge become the focus of these theories in the first place? Katt's answer is simple but unsettling. According to him, influence matters more than fame. His argument is that the artists with the strongest connection to young audiences hold the most power. And when you look at YoungBoy's fan base, you can see why that point resonates with some people. Few artists in hip-hop command the loyalty of younger listeners the way he does. And that level of influence has become a major part of the conversation.
Ain't no way these YoungBoy fans are real people.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of NBA YoungBoy, and to the republic on 4K trade.
These people look at him like he's God. It's one thing to like somebody's music, but it's another thing when you're on your knees crying to him while he's on stage performing. You can't scroll down on your feed without seeing some YNs going crazy looking like they're getting possessed at this YoungBoy concert.
Katt's argument was that if someone wanted to influence culture, they wouldn't start with an audience that's already set in its ways. They'd focus on younger fans, the ones still shaping their views, tastes, and identities. That's why he pointed to YoungBoy. In Katt's view, the conversation was never really about music. It was about influence and who has the strongest connection to the next generation. Now, plenty of people hear that and immediately dismiss it. Fair enough. But Katt supporters always come back to the same point. They remember other controversial claims he made that were laughed off at first. They point to his warnings about powerful figures, industry gatekeepers, and behavior inside Hollywood that many people refused to discuss at the time. Whether you agree with him or not, that history is why some listeners pay attention when he speaks. Their argument is simple. Katt has made uncomfortable predictions before, and more than once, people didn't take them seriously until much later.
What it was that I was attempting to do was impossible. So before I do this interview, there is no Illuminati. It's just a joke. It's just something that crazy people talk about. There's no such thing as our side and God's side. None of that is even real. I gotta come and make it real. So that's why when I said that, nobody came out and went, that's not true, I'm on God's side. If part of the ritual is wearing a dress, then we should be able to look through entertainment and see all of these people being made to wear a dress.
Katt had been making controversial claims for years. He talked about how certain comedians were elevated while others struggled to get opportunities. People mocked the idea until more insiders began describing similar dynamics. He spoke about industry parties, contracts, and deals that many artists later admitted they barely understood. Every time, critics laughed first and revisited the conversation later. That history is exactly why some people paid attention when Katt started speculating about NBA YoungBoy. Whether you agree with him or not, his comments sparked debate because of his track record of challenging mainstream narratives. Then came the moment that really fueled the discussion. In late 2024, Katt reportedly appeared on Instagram Live without warning. No comedy routine, no performance, just him speaking directly to viewers. According to clips that circulated online before the stream disappeared, he described seeing things in the entertainment business that he believed most people would never accept. He spoke about talented young artists being changed by the industry in ways the public doesn't fully understand. The live stream quickly became part of internet lore. Copies spread across social media, discussions exploded, and arguments followed. Supporters pointed to the removal of clips as proof that uncomfortable conversations were being suppressed. Skeptics saw it as another viral controversy taking on a life of its own. Either way, people were talking. And that's the bigger point behind this entire story. For years, Katt has argued that the entertainment business operates differently behind closed doors than it appears from the outside. In his view, brands often outlive the people who create them, and the machine never stops moving. That's why some fans look at YoungBoy's nonstop output through legal battles, house arrest, and constant public scrutiny and ask how it all keeps going. Katt's answer is one that many reject and others continue to debate. As he often suggests, time eventually reveals what people refuse to see in the moment. His supporters believe that's happened before with other industry stories. Whether that pattern repeats here remains an open question. For now, the conversation continues, and so do the questions.